Traded it all.
So welcome back. My next guest is Fred Thomas, and he is a PI attorney. Tell everybody a little bit about what a PI attorney is and what you do.
Well, what I do is I help people. It's the simplest way I'd like to look at it. You know, a lot of people have a preconceived misconception of attorneys and all the negative slang words they may have. I don't really want to get in, but you've probably heard them all. And the reality is...
We can't say them on the air.
Well, I don't. I'm not going to say them on the air. Some defense attorneys out there might say it, but I'm not going to say it. But my idea, my job is to help people. I mean, everybody gets in an accident or has some sort of injury. It's personal to them, obviously, but it is more catastrophic to them than, you know, either I can think of or maybe someone else. So I just try and help them, get them through that tough process, and hopefully get a resolution that's going to make them happy and at least at some level satisfied when, you know, at some point some of these things can't redress.
So let's talk about this. Not everything is always a car accident when you're talking about PI attorney. Whoops. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. Everybody thinks of, and what I like to refer to those as red car, blue car accidents, you know, rear end, left turns. But, you know, there's a variety of different types of cases or claims that fall into what, you know, personal injury. You know, if you go to a grocery store and maybe you slip and you fall in some water, or you're at your friend's house or some neighbor's house and their dog bites you, or like something that happened to me a couple of years ago. I was at an undisclosed restaurant and I bit into a carnitas taco and there's a little metal rivet in it, chipped the back of my tooth. So things like that. Any situation where someone else has done something that is unreasonable or created a danger, then you've been injured or harmed by it, then you have a right of redress. And in our society, that redress is monetary compensation at some level.
Now, you're located in where? Paradise Valley?
Tatum and Cactus. Call it Paradise Valley, but yeah, I'm valley-wide, though. You know, right. Anybody, not 24/7, but I mean, you can get a hold of me and, you know. He
does free consultations, and you can check him out on his website. It is thomaslawaz.com, or put this phone number in your phone. It's 480-582-1549. You know, I think the one thing that everybody thinks about when we talk about these types of situations with attorneys is that everybody's sue happy, but it's not about that at all. And that's something I want to get out, because I think it's important that people know that, you know, listen, sometimes things happen to somebody. Well, really, it warrants it.
Right. And it is. People always, clients will come into me and goes, well, I don't like to sue people. I'm not really a sue happy person. And I tell them, I go, my goal is to get you the best settlement or resolution possible without filing a lawsuit. But if we have to file a lawsuit, I'm not afraid to file a lawsuit. And we could get in a whole political discussion as to why we have so many lawsuits. I mean, Maricopa County is one of the busiest court systems in the country. I think they're like the 5th busiest. You know, you file a lawsuit, and if you file a lawsuit today, you may not be in trial for 2 years. So there's a backlog of cases, and some of them may be less than meritorious, but for the most part, if you have to file, it's because there's a genuine issue and you want redress, and they're not willing to give it to you absent a jury telling them they need to.
You've been doing this for 14 years.
Yeah, I was licensed in California, Arizona, and Colorado, and I was licensed in California in 2003, and I practiced there till 2006, and I moved back here to Arizona. So I've been licensed since 2003 and licensed in Arizona since 2005.
He does free consultations. You can call him direct at 480-582-1549, and he can help anyone from anywhere, even though he's located in Paradise Valley at Tatum and Cactus. But, you know, if it's you or someone that you know that you're listening to this, tell them about it. Maybe, you know, you might want to do a consultation. How do they know they got a case? I think that's what the bottom line is. You have to talk to them. You have to find out and hear whether they got a case or not.
Yeah, the only way to really know if somebody actually has a viable case is to sit down and talk. And that's the whole idea. You know, you may go see an attorney. You may not want to hire that attorney. You may decide, hey, this is something I can do on my own, which I highly suggest not, because insurance companies aren't looking out to protect you. They're looking out to protect themselves. But yeah, at the end of the day, until you speak to an attorney, then you really don't know what case you have. Maybe you have a case when you thought you didn't, or you don't have one when you thought you did. At least at the end of that free consultation, you would know whether or not this is something that you should proceed with.
Again, that phone number, it's 480-582-1549. The website is thomaslawaz.com. And I'm going to ask this now, too, because a lot of people think, cha-ching, cha-ching when it comes to attorneys.
Ka-ching, ka-ching in which way? Ka-ching, ka-ching. I just got
very good for them. Exactly. That's
one of the problems that you have to address or deal with as an attorney too, is client expectations. But as it relates to ka-ching, ka-ching out of their pocket, when it comes to cases like this, accident cases, injury cases, most attorneys, including myself, take those on a contingency, meaning we don't collect attorney's fees unless we get some sort of result for you. Now, there may be some sort of cost that we have to advance, then we'll look to the client for reimbursement should we not get a successful settlement. But the fees are totally contingent on obtaining a settlement, getting a jury verdict or arbitration award, or, any time you get the money in the client's pocket.
Do all of the cases go to trial?
No, not. I usually, when I'm meeting with people for the first time, I would tell them, if you took 10 auto accident or 10 injury claims against an insurance company, 9 of those would probably settle outside of court. And if you even took that one where you had to file a lawsuit, maybe 2 of those would actually go to trial.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. In your practice, are you just dedicated to PI, or do you do other as well?
I would say the majority, if not 80% of my practice is personal injury, just because of my background. Before I went to law school, I was a claims adjuster for a pretty big insurance company. I'm not going to say their name. But I also kind of fell into, when I moved back in here, I do a lot of commercial contractor litigation.
That's completely opposite.
It is. It's completely opposite, and it's one of those things when I came back to get a job, that's what I fell into. So I still do it because I have hangover clients from when I was practicing primarily in that area. But I'm trying to gear more away from that, focus more and more of my practice on the injury side.
Well, and I'm sure that you have a lot of people that refer clients to you as well.
That's probably the primary source of clients is,
right.
Referrals. Grassroots networking and referrals from other clients.
Now, but again, here the thing is that listening to this, you could be in an accident right now out there.
Especially today.
It's a good day. And, even if you are, it's a good idea to take this number down and have it. Because, again, let's say you don't even know. Sometimes the next day you really hurt more. You can find out more. It could be your car was done more damage than you thought, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of different reasons. Put the phone number in your phone. It's 480-582-1549. He does free consultations. He can help anyone from anywhere. He's located in Paradise Valley at Tatum and Cactus. Again, that number is 480-582-1549, and he's been doing this for 14 years, and it's thomaslawaz.com. I guess, I think for me, one of the things that I think is the most important thing is to find out whether or not somebody has a case or not. And the only way they're going to know is by talking to you.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. There's some situations where, if you're rear-ended by somebody, it's pretty clear that person is at fault. I can't think of a scenario unless, there was some sort of insurance scam set up. But usually, those are cases where the liability is not going to be the issue. What might be the issue is what is the actual value of the case. And the reality is, even most people don't know how to get to that point or even come to an idea of what number seems fair. I
also think that it's important for you to talk about some of the other types of cases, that things that can happen to them. You said that if you were you said to yourself, you ate something.
Yeah.
And, that's pretty amazing. Is that why you got into it?
No. That was just about 2 years ago. And I still go to the restaurant that it happened at because I like the restaurant. But yeah, it was a freak accident thing. And I
had a friend of mine who was at a restaurant. She moved her chair. There was something wrong with the chair, and the chair actually took off the top of her finger.
Ow.
Yeah. So you see, there's different things that can happen. So many different things. Go ahead. What is probably one of the, everybody likes to hear this kind of thing, one of the cases that you would want to talk about right now?
Well, really not different. Like one case in particular. I don't know. I don't really want to get into that just because the whole client
Yeah.
Attorney-client thing. Dog bites. Or I like dog bites primarily because under Arizona law, if it's your dog,
The dog's always at fault.
essentially the dog's always at fault unless for some reason, you're not lawfully where you're supposed to be. So if you break into someone's house and their dog bites you, well, guess what? You're not lawfully supposed to be in their house.
Well, don't do that.
Don't do
I'll
that.
tell you something. If you got a case, if you think you've got a case, it's a good idea to give him a call. He does free consultations. The number to call him is 480-582-1549. He's been doing it for 14 years, and the only way you're going to know if you've got a case is by talking to him. You can check him out on his website. It is thomaslawaz.com or 480-582-1549.